The right wing embraces that we are different, but the right wing doesn't understand that competition is unnatural. The left embraces that competition is bad, not because it's unnatural though, but because it creates injustices. But the left denies that we're all different. Hello my friends, today I am going to be a little bit political and also esoteric at the same time. It wouldn't be me otherwise. And I hope this will make sense to some of you at least. We'll see. Goes like this. You know, there is a narrative in society. There are lots of narratives, but a general basic societal narrative that we learn very early on is about what is good and what is bad, what is considered good and what is considered bad. And what is considered good and much of what is considered good and an expression of progress has to do with, is about rejecting and denying things that we intuitively know. And this may sound a little bit strange perhaps and odd, but I think it is like that actually. We reject and deny much of what we, from the beginning, when we're very, very young, when we come to this world, know intuitively is right. It's a knowledge that we have. A gnosis, G-N-O-S-I-S. And those are, I mean, we can talk for hours about that only, but just to explain it briefly, it is things like, number one, that we are all different. Everybody is different. That we know ourselves what's best for our bodies, and that we are eternal, and therefore don't need to be afraid of dying, and hence don't need to be afraid in general. I'm going to focus here on the differences thing. That the first point there, that we're all different. And we all know, of course, that we have all sorts of differences. And I'm not talking about, I mean, superficial differences, differences in material status or something like that. I'm talking about inner, deeper differences, differences in propensities, traits, and properties that we have. And it can be all sorts of them. We don't have time to delve too deeply into that, but you all know that it can be about gender, intelligence, sensitivity, the degree of empathy, musicality. Well, I don't have to give more examples. I think we all know that this is true. And the thing is, when we are very young, when we're kids, we don't judge. Kids don't judge other kids' innate propensities and properties and traits. They don't. It's just natural to accept life's richness. We're all expressions. I mean, these differences are an expression of the richness of life and what makes life among human beings so interesting. It would be extremely boring if everybody was exactly the same. As we all understand, it's nothing strange there, really. I mean, if you think about it. So the judging thing comes from society. When we get older, we are talked out of this, and we learn by these societal structures, this mainstream narrative, that some traits, some propensities, some properties are good and some are bad. And from there, misery begins, when we are conditioned to believe that some traits are bad and some traits are good. I mean, if you don't have those good traits, what do you do then? You suffer. Now, I will try to transpose this into politics, or rather into ideology. I don't know if it's possible really, but and I kind of hesitate to do it because ideology is, in this context, is a bit superficial really, but also kind of interesting, because we so much of what we are doing and saying and acting on has to do with ideology. I try to stay out of ideological thinking these days, but I know all about it. I've grown up with this, and we're also used to thinking in political terms and ideological terms. So anyway, goes like this. The right wing embraces that we are different, but the right wing doesn't understand that competition is unnatural. Like I said, small kids don't judge, and ever more research shows that the reason why human beings have been so successful on this planet isn't that we have been competing, but the other way around, the opposite, that we have been very good at cooperating. So the right embraces that we're different, but doesn't understand that competition is unnatural. The left embraces that competition is bad, not because it's unnatural though, but because it creates injustices. But the left denies that we're all different. Now, this is a simplification, as you all understand, but this is basically what these two sides of the political spectrum, which is, it's more complicated, but again, this is a simplification. This is basically what they're focusing on. And here comes now a central tenet in this little vlog here. It goes like this. None of the political ends, none of the two ends of the political spectrum really unconditionally and respectfully embraces cooperation between equal differences. Cooperation between equal differences. The right wing mistrusts the equality part and says that we must accept a certain amount of injustice to make progress. The left speaks much about cooperation, but not because we shall learn from each other's differences, but because the victims, the so-called victims of society, must cooperate to beat its enemy, which in their case is the capitalists. See my point? So I take that little tenet again, because that's the central part of this, the focal point here. None of the political ends really unconditionally and respectfully embraces cooperation between equal differences. Cooperation between equal differences. We should all love each other's differences unconditionally, and therefore we should all, of course, love each other unconditionally, which is what we do when we come here and then we're talked out of it and we learn differently, which is sad. I hope this made sense to some of you. Have a wonderful week now. See you next time. Bye-bye. If you like this video and other interviews and talks on Mind the Shift, please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate all the support. Thank you.